Greetings, classical comrades, and welcome to Builders of Greece. This is a brand new city builder that just released last week, and we are going to take a 20 to 30 minute peek at it and get a first impression. Now, the very first thing that happens is you get into this menu, which by now has stopped playing music, but it was playing Greensleeves at like 10% volume. It was really strange, not very Greek. Greensleeves is an English thing. So that was strange, but here we are. Dear player, a new era begins with the Age of War update, with changes almost every system in Builders of Greece. This is my first time playing. This includes a new scenario, refreshed combat and recruitment mechanics, and the introduction of raids, rebellions, and threats from bandits. Alright, so this is for older players. Okay, let's go. So it is kind of weird that there's no music. Let's take a look at the options first of all. I do like when there's a lot of options. Sometimes these days games tend to release with basically nothing. In the options, it'll just be like one little quality thing. Ooh, that was interesting. Let's just go with, there's a lot of, like, why is everything set so low? We'll set it to high and we'll scale back if necessary. So I've just launched the game, so this is our very first impression. Is there a subtitle for audio or something? That's always good to have. Okay, good. Let's begin. Let's get into the game. Let's take a look. Scenario, sandbox, load game. Do we have a tutorial? New beginnings, I assume that's our tutorial. I like these. I like the art. I think also the UI is nice and clean. Let's take a look at what we're doing. The archives are your best advisor. I'm so glad I have a best advisor. What is happening? Remembering all the rules of governing a polis
is already visible.
Oh, it's voiced.
And after such a long
so
voyage,
tiny.
It is good to finally feel the solid land under your feet.
That
Fertile
text is so
soil,
small.
Virgin forests teeming with game. Rich deposits of raw materials, and an azure ocean so abundant with fish they almost swim into the nets themselves. It is not an island, but an untouched paradise bathed in the sun. Our new home.
Interesting. Ooh, I love the
Although we
mosaic.
have barely set foot on these shores, people desire a vibrant center where ideas can flow and trade can flourish. Let us raise the Agora as the beating heart of our settlement. Build the first houses for our people.
So space pauses the man.
Common road.
Okay, so pause. Pause everything. First of all, the smallest text known to man. I do love a smaller text in games. I think nowadays we tend to have a lot of float and stuff. Second thing, I'm not really used to, like, the game is not paused while there's narration, so you're just like anxiously waiting while the guy finishes talking. There was like 4 things on the left there, and by the time he was finished talking, they were already gone. There's a lot of like little tiny things, but let's get to the meat of the game. So, starting from humble beginnings, you will guide your people step by step, achieve soaring population numbers, host the greatest minds, erect monumental wonders, and above all, keep your coffers healthy, lest crushing debt deliver your downfall. I feel like there should be a space there. Okay, cool. So space does pause the game, but only once you've dismissed that. I think when you launch and you have a narrator, you can keep the game paused. All right, let's take a look at buttons. There's not really much in the way of tutorial, but I'm a city builder fan, so hopefully we'll be fine. I'm clicking on this though. I love these little details. I love a mosaic. I love all that kind of stuff. I was just thinking, is it possible to get into mosaics in the year 2025? How affordable is it? The Agora, or I think as the Greeks call it, the Agora, is the heart of the polis where the life of all residents unfolds. It houses the treasury and serves as the main storage and shelter for the homeless. Oh, okay. I do like what we're seeing here. How do I rotate her? with R. That makes sense. I feel like this. A lot of Greek architecture is often a thing where like you come up a hill and then your line of sight is specifically directed towards like there's lines. So there's a lot of like lines that come out of the thing. It's very interesting. I just watched a video about this. I don't just know this by heart. I just watched a video about how like Greek architecture is often, it's not centered on a bird's eye view like we plan like city designs now. It's centered on like a human perspective of what you see when you emerge from the staircase to the top of the hill or something. It's pretty cool. Anyway, I should get to the game, huh? That's why we're here. So let's drag a road. I like to always, you know, encircle my starting location. So build an agora, build a cottage, and build a path to connect the cottage to the agora. Okay, house. So that's just a Thetis cottage. Small family home for the poorest stratum of your polis. Cool. Yeah, let's do a little... Why 5? You know, 5 is not a nice number that lends itself to symmetry. I'll do 6, just because I'm a rebel. I cannot be tamed. Is there a hotkey for roads? I would love a little... in city builders, you tend to do a lot of paths, so it's nice to have a little hotkey for that. All right. Hello. Oh, look at them go. They're all the same. Clone army. Oh, ancient Greeks had cloning technology. I like this agora though. Look at it. Look. Okay, interesting. Only 3 were built at a time. Neutral. They want fish and meat. Man, both, huh? Bofa. Okay. I love a city builder so much. I know that this is a little bit clunky so far, but I gotta tell you, I'm already enjoying myself, and we've barely gotten to place down some houses. So this is very nice. Oh.
Our small colony needs wood to be able to develop.
I paused him again.
Let's build woodcutters' huts, set up a sawmill, and transform raw logs into planks that will serve us as building material.
It's interesting that it's all voiced, although now I can see that you know, it's all right. Milestones define the stage of development of Polis. Achieving subsequent milestones provide access to new buildings and brings new challenges and opportunities. New needs of the residents, occurrence of diseases and increasing risk of them. Faith, new gods and increasing demands of the gods. Stronger armies of opponents. Invitation of great people to Polis. Construction of great buildings. What? There's a lot of information that's just being thrown at me. But food! Oh, look at that. That looks so nice. All right, we'll figure it out. Build lumber hump. Build lumber mill. Woodcutter's house. Okay. Oop, there we go. Building materials and food. So, building materials, we've got a woodcutter's house. What does the blue mean? What does blue mean? 2 woodcutters' houses. Do they need to be near the trees? Or what's the T? I'm gonna go into the trees. I have no idea though. It feels correct. And then a lumber mill can be here. It does not feel correct to have a lumber mill at the end of this residential space. Maybe we can decorate later, so maybe I should just put it here. No, you know what? I'll put it here. Let's go. Let's be practical. It's our first thing after all. So, they're building all of that. Look at that. Is there a speed control? Oh, they just plant their own trees. That's kind of fun. I do like that. That's cute. Maybe we should have moved this one elsewhere. UI is so tiny. Is there a text size? Graphics. Not the VSync just being in there. There is no text size. Streaming mode? What does that mean? What is... Also, it's kind of hard to see what's enabled and what's disabled, but it's okay. Usually streaming mode means that you're not playing any copyrighted songs, which tends to be more of a case in games that have maybe like a radio or that have, you know, just like songs that will get caught by like an audio algorithm that's just scraping streams. But I can't imagine that that would be a problem here. Because we're not listening to, you know, Ariana Grande in ancient Greece. Okay, so they're doing it. Let's take a look at how that looks. I do like the game looks nice. This is Unity, very clearly. The lighting is Unity. You can sort of when you find a game that's made in Unreal or a game that's made in Unity, you can always tell. There's always like a very specific type of lighting. I mean, not always, but just the engine's default built-in lighting systems. And these trees are probably speed tree. I like this. It's nice. I like the vibe. I think the graphics are lovely. I don't think we need, especially, but this is clearly, you know, this is like an indie studio. It's a small game. I think sometimes people focus too much on the graphics and they can it can be the main thing that people even talk about. And it's like, but what about the gameplay? What about her? Okay, we're making some planks. Let's look at this guy make planks. I do think when you have this much detail in like the people walking around, I mean, obviously there's not a lot of detail in the difference of the models, but when you have people doing activities in your city builder, I think it's really nice to be able to zoom in real close and just, you know, be spending time looking at what these people are doing. Again, do we have a speed control? There is a speed control, but let's find the key bindings. F. Ooh, the F keys. Okay. Oh, look at them go. Man, it's taking them a while to make the few planks.
And a growing number of residents. Hunting and fishing will provide a stable food supply, and caring for the lowest social class will strengthen satisfaction and attract new settlers. The balance between development and prosperity is the key to success.
To develop the polis and increase the prosperity of its inhabitants, you need a well-developed industry engaged in the production of increasingly advanced goods. Production is one form of work involving the processing of resources taken from warehouses into specific products. That's a lot of... I think that's just an unnecessary sentence. Production buildings can create production chains, where the product of one building is then processed by another building into a new subsequent product. More advanced products may require a larger amount of resources and a higher social class to work. It's very interesting. Like which things they choose to explain. Okay, so we want a hunting lodge. And that's also just this tiny little lodge. Okay. Now, let's not make them too even. So I'm gonna put it here. I hope a road doesn't interrupt the functioning of these buildings. And then, honestly, I think we should move this woodcutter's house. Sorry to this man, but you're gonna get fired and rehired. So this is here. It would be nice to see the outline of the others, the other buildings. But yeah, I'm just going to put that a little bit further out. And then I guess for now I'll let them do this, but I'm already planning to build more housing here. I guess we could build it on the other side meantime. Okay, so we probably want to fish stuff. Oh, we need a second hunting lodge. Hunting lodge, give me some food. Oh, and now we have like a Arabic theme. So we've gone from England to... Some of it is definitely not Greece. Okay, so... Fish! 2 fishermen's huts. I can already tell, by the way, I'm still enjoying this, so I definitely am gonna play more. But I can tell that we're only gonna scratch the surface in this preview. Sometimes I go really long accidentally. I'm like, we're gonna look at the first half hour of this game, and then I just, I'm like, I want to see more, especially with city builders and stuff. It's very hard with a city builder to get a proper taste in like the first 30 minutes because, there's so much to discover in terms of like late game mechanics. There's usually like things from monuments to all sorts of things. So there's definitely more to see. So I will be actually streaming this game tomorrow if you're watching this on the day that it comes out, which like 80% of the views on these videos usually are. If you're watching this on the day and you'd like to see more, tomorrow on Wednesday, I will actually be playing... Oh, this is moving it. Nice, I didn't even have to delete it. How do I fully delete it though? Oh, there we go. I'll be playing it on my Twitch stream at twitch.tv/Lolling. So that's tomorrow, Wednesday, May 14th. We'll be doing like 6 hours of this game at least to get... Well, maybe not 6 hours. I tend to get distracted and talk a lot in case you just... in case you didn't notice. But we will be doing a lot of this game. I like a game that's like a slow city builder. I get to design a little city. I get to just talk about whatever while it's happening. Let's speed up the game though. We want to get a little bit more of an impression. So we want more housing. Is housing currently blocked by... is the population blocked by housing? I guess so. Let's get more housing then. We'll just do one of those. I'm gonna go for a little bit of symmetry. I'm a symmetry enjoyer very often, although I do also like a little bit of chaos sometimes, things sort of spread around and stuff. If you've played Foundation, that's a really great city builder because that one has no grid and also allows a lot of buildings to sort of clip into each other. And in that one, I love to just go completely chaotic, basically no symmetry. Everything is sort of strewn about. But I love a grid city builder because I get to make little symmetrical patterns and stuff, which are also very pleasing. What's not pleasing is this road not being centered here. But, we'll deal with that later. Can you stack the roads together to make a bigger road? I'll say that kind of works. I just became like a dog for a second. Okay, yeah. Look at that.
The next steps on the road to the greatness of our polis require solid foundations and even greater creativity. Ensure the extraction of stone and clay, and then breathe life into them in the ceramic workshop. This way, we will create buildings that are more durable and more beautiful.
Love that. Is that clay? That looks like it might be clay, right? That looks like stone. So if I click on stone, core, yeah, okay. Nice. It's gonna be next to it, so that we maybe have space there for something else if something else ever needs to be built. Ooh, perfect. And then here, we'll just put that over there. Here, we probably aren't going to need the space, but I'll go for it. Question, can I make a road up here? Like a ramp? Nope. Okay. I would love that. I would love to make little stairways and stuff. That's one thing that I really enjoy about Greek architecture that doesn't really feature as much in city builders, because it's kind of difficult to build a game where you can like build on cliffs and then chisel the cliffs and stuff. The Greeks did a lot of terraforming. They did a lot of like terracing, all of those things. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. They did a lot of like essentially just changing the environment to fit their needs. And so because a lot of the Greek islands, if you look at Greece on a map, you'll notice that it's not like a lot of the other continents where, you know, it goes from a land shelf into a sea shelf. Greece is actually, a lot of the Greek islands are basically the tips of mountains. So the islands themselves are like this. There's a lot of mountain stuff going on. That's one of those things that gives Greece its unique architecture, and it's something that I really love. And in city builders, we don't get to see that because it's a pain to make a game where you can both like terraform the environment and then like build stairs and change everything. Part of the challenge in a gameplay cycle in a game that's a city builder is often just like, okay, how are we going to make the player have to figure out, you know, work with the environment, not just build wherever they want. But yeah, I always love that idea. What's this other building? Warehouse and marketplace. I'm gonna build one on one side and one on the other. Are they the same size? Ah, they're not. No. Also, Agora is kind of also a marketplace. I guess it's more of a square. What does blue and green mean? Is it just out of range? Maybe we do need two marketplaces. Fine by me. And then the warehouse. How do you function? What's your way of functioning? Maybe I've gone too wide to start with. Are any ceramics happening? Are we doing it, divas? Oh, they're probably taking a while to deliver the clay from that pit. What's that? Storage full. Oh, do you need a warehouse? One of these very convenient buildings we've just discovered. Okay, well, I've given them a lot to do, so let's speed up the game. But yeah, it's so cool if you just, you know, I love those just chiseled staircase. Sometimes it's sort of narrow and it really goes into the mountain itself. You know, because you're not going to waste this space here. This is the most secure location in your bloody town.
Our humble colony is growing day by day, and now we aspire to become a true village. Let us strengthen our foundations and bring comfort to those who have chosen to live under our guidance.
Services are one of the two main categories of needs of the residents, right next to resources. Work in service buildings involves processing resources taken from warehouses to provide specific services to nearby homes if their residents need them. Faith and medical care are also services needed by all social classes upon reaching a certain milestone in Polis. It says in Polis. I wonder if this, like, I would say a polis, right? Or in your polis. Polis is city. Polis is like city-state, essentially. But yeah, also, so taken from warehouses to provide services. Okay. Cool. So we have service buildings. Decorations. Oh, we do have decorations. Oh, you're not ready for this. You're not ready for my decorations, mama. Wait, what's that? Ooh, okay. They really jumped out with the decorations. We're gonna play with that for sure before we wrap up. Oops. So you want me to do what? You want me to make services, but I don't... Production buildings? Administrative buildings? How do I service anyone? Hello? I'm trying to service these men. Reach milestone village. Maybe we go over here and look. We just need 200 more people. 200 something. Whose warehouse is full? Okay. I'm gonna build some more houses. But where now? Our beautiful design is being tested. Design is a very strong word for what we've done here. I would say let's just go on the sides of the market just for ease. Ease and practicality. Why did I go for 4 instead of 3? You know what? Maybe we should go for 4. Change things up a little bit. So are we gonna have enough food to feed all these people? Guess we'll find out. Ooh, that road was a little bit annoying. I didn't want to bend the way I needed it to. Hello, may I please place road? Thank you. See, we've got some space for decoration there. Alright, so yeah, we actually need to get just a higher population so that we can even unlock the other stuff. Now, is our meat and fish be going down? Okay, so we're gonna add more fish. Double the fish. And double the meat. So it's just 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'll go like this. I'm trying to not just place them in a grid. It's sometimes hard to resist though, you know what I mean? I'm sure other people experience this too when you're playing games and you're like, well, I could make this decorative, but what about my beautiful efficiency? Is the constant war between your wish for an aesthetic little town and, you know, making the numbers be nice. What's your problem? No storage access. Storage full. Is there... So a warehouse... Maybe we just move this warehouse a little bit further out. If I click this button and I just put you out here. Oh, that works. Nice. Oh, can I deselect that? Thank you. Okay, okay. We need just a few more pops. I wonder, how do I know if my houses are full? What's the... There's nothing. There's no way to know. But most people are unemployed. It seems pretty straightforward. It seems a little bit, I would enjoy a little bit more complexity, if I'm being honest. Or not complexity, a little bit more... something. Zest. Okay, let's put in 2 more houses. I feel like people should maybe be more alive. They should have requirements and ideas of what they want, what they don't want. Okay, I'm just gonna move these. I think moving is free, so... Just hold on a second, okay? We're just, can I demolish things while the game is paused? Okay, I do like that you can work on the game while it's paused. A lot of city builders will actually not let you do actual work while the game is paused. They just let you plan. So I appreciate that. Thank you. I would want for hotkeys, especially for these very tiny icons. Maybe the hotkey does exist and I just don't know it. Also, right-clicking does not deselect the warehouse, and neither does escape. Okay, cool. We've made an ugly square
Our
thing.
community is beginning to desire more sophisticated goods. Expand wheat cultivation, build a mill and bakery, and meet the growing needs of the residents to enhance their satisfaction and health. Let these beautiful grain fields become another pillar of prosperity.
Okay, I officially hate what this looks like, so just give me a second, okay? Okay, we've improved things slightly. I think this is better. I did play around with the decorations a bit, just to be able to also give you some information, and it's relatively fine. It kind of semi-snaps to grid, as in the footprint of the building snaps to the grid, but actually you can freely place it wherever. Except, sometimes it does seem to sort of, if you're looking, if it seems like it's maybe sticking a little bit as I move it around, that's not an accident. It just sort of seems to stick to things sometimes. And it's not amazing. Just now, for example, doesn't feel amazing when it does that. It's sort of, I think it's meant to help you make things touch each other and like be consistent and symmetrical, but I feel like maybe we could have a toggle or something that like snaps to grid or snaps to other objects. There could be a little bit more there. But you know, let's move on to, I think the last thing I want to do is farming, because a lot of times in these games you've got a lot of farming mechanics where farming tends to be more seasonal, needs a lot of space. So definitely something to look at. So I think we're going to try, oh, stinky, unfarmable. Okay. So we definitely want to maybe use this territory for that. So I think let's clear a little bit of this space. All right. Everyone's kind of just walking around in confusion because we just moved them around. But now we have this space here, and let's see how we can farm. See, I was right about accidentally going long. It always happens. But, you know, I think it's worth trying out. Oh, we only need one wheat farm? Oh, it's one wheat farm, but then there's also something called a wheat field. So maybe we built it too close. I kind of you know, we're going in blind. Ooh, healer's house. Noria. The ranges are quite small. I see that I've built my floor plan of the place wrong. Oh, you know, I could do one Noria here, one Noria here. Hello. Wheat farm. So let's connect it. Let's see what this wheat field business is all about. So, no storage access. What do you need? There's a granary? Is there a granary now? Builder's house. A home for an additional team of builders who support the growth of your polis. Increases the number. See, your polis, not the growth of polis. Increases the number of buildings that can be constructed simultaneously and speeds up their construction. Okay. We have a warehouse here, don't we? Where did our warehouse go? That's the warehouse. So what do you want? Oh wait, you're not connected. I missed by one. Okay, well that explains more. Alright. Ooh! I keep pressing R whenever I want to build roads. Okay, well that's fine. Our meat is... Okay, everything's gone down a bit, but it's fine. So, wheat farm. Let's continue with the next thing. Military buildings. We haven't even tried the combat. Again, come say hi on stream and we will play the combat. So, wheat farm. How do I build a wheat field? Oh, there we go. Oh, it's inside of the farm area. Okay, well that's fine. That's a little bit of Anno inspiration, I guess. So that's not that big of a space. Do these guys also have that? No, they just have their own business. Okay. I also was wondering, can a woodcutter's house and a hunting lodge intersect? And they seem to have decent overlap. So next we must make a mill. What would, oh, there it is. A nice little mill. And then a bread bakery. Not just any bakery. It's a bread bakery. I'll have you know. Alright, let's see how this works out. Yeah, also, when it comes to military and these kinds of city builders, I'm always a little bit skeptical. I don't know about y'all, but there's this thing that I think you either make... I mean, okay, combat is nice.
Before we raise a joyful
Jesus.
toast to our development, we must take care of the vineyard, the winery, and a comfortable place for feasting. Properly processed wine grapes will provide a wonderful drink, and Lesha will allow us to celebrate in the atmosphere of shared joy. Let our citizens feel pride and the exquisite taste of success.
Nice. Nice. So, thing. What was I going to say? I was going to say a thing. And then this man rudely interrupted me. No, it's fine. We're here to test a game. Oh yeah, military. I always feel like in these games, people tend to... Oh, that's what it is. These are bandit camps. Why are they shirtless though? Why are there 3 shirtless men in a tent? Sir? People always want combat in these kinds of games, but honestly, I think when you think about, especially an indie studio, you've got your very limited resources. I would want to focus 100% of the team on great city builder and then combat. If you look at the Impressions games like Caesar 3 or Pharaoh or any of those, combat is really very secondary. And I do think that sometimes people can be sort of obsessed with having good combat. I remember when Caesar 4 came out, there was a lot of conversation about combat. And it's like, you can either have, Total War, or you can have Age of Empires, or you can have Caesar 3. You can't have all 3 combined. I mean, maybe someday somebody will do it. I think Manor Lords is proven to be quite popular with its combat, so that's a very... that's a way of doing it right. But yeah, anyway, we're done here with the gameplay for today. So yeah, interesting. Let's get our impressions, shall we? Just gonna pause the game and... Well, no, I guess we can watch them work. It's fine. I don't think the campaign will fail or the mission. Okay, another thing I just noticed is when you save the game, you cannot name your save. I think in a city builder, that is... People are going to be making their wild designs. You want to let them name the save. You want to let me name my save like Big Monastery coming up or whatever, so that I can then like return to it later and look at it and see what I've made. But yeah, so impressions, ideas. What do you think? Because I think I've sort of been, looking out. It's a little bit clunky. She's a little bit clunky. It's a little bit rusty, and sort of like there's maybe some things that are... Okay, here's what I love. Here's what I love. I think it's great that it is trying to capture some of the magic of the games that I played 10, 15 years ago. And that's nice. I think it's feeling like it wouldn't look too out of place in the era of like Civ City Rome and Caesar 4 and other similar games. I actually quite like those games. They kind of tanked the city building genre for a while, but that was mostly because big publishers were pivoting away and the gaming trends just tended to go more action. But also that was the problem of like 3D really did a number on city building, because isometric 2D city planning is a very different feel than what we then got with those games, which I feel kind of recreated here. I'm very interested in discovering if there's any unique mechanics that this game has come up with when it comes to certain things, because so far we've seen a lot of inspirations from games that I like. Generally, we've got a little bit of Anno inspiration, it's giving a little bit of Civ City Rome. Did I say City Skylines before? I hope not, because I meant Civ City Rome. Pretty sure I accidentally said City Skyline. You know, leave it in, Lulling. Leave it in. So, Civ City Rome, it's given a lot of that. It's given Anno inspired. It's given Caesar inspired. And honestly, we're still on the lookout for a good Greek city builder. So, you know what? Let me look at the price of this game again. So this game is currently 50% off, and it's about $8.50. So even at full price, it's 16 euros, which I think is a I obviously I haven't experienced all the content, but we saw maybe there was 3-4 scenarios. I wouldn't mind playing this. I know that like from a critical standpoint, this isn't like pushing the city building genre. This isn't innovating on something, but I think it's nice to have just a variety of games, you know, any time of the day. You can look at Steam, or you can look at like what people are playing. There's going to be a new RPG. There's going to be a new something. And even if it's just a very sort of low effort thing, or not low effort, even if it's just a different bracket compared to like, not everything is Cyberpunk, not everything is I was gonna say like a AAA thing like Dragon Age, but Dragon Age wasn't good, so like the new one. Not everything is a big budget game is what I'm trying to say. Not everything is Baldur's Gate 3. You also have little RPGs that you play for 8 hours, right? And I think this is maybe in that bracket. I think there is a place for it, and I will certainly be playing it more tomorrow. So if you want to come say hi, come over at twitch.tv/lulling. I also want to say thanks for the devs, because I did actually get this key as a review copy, as a little creator thing. I've just Senpai noticed me, and I got a little thingy. But yeah, it is available on Steam. And it is there. I probably, I'm gonna play it tomorrow. I'm gonna do a full decision of how I feel about it. If there's anything revolutionary, like whether I fully hate it or I end up super loving it, and there's like a secret thing that we didn't show here that we didn't get to see, I will put that in the comments. So check the comments to see if any new developments have happened, especially if you're watching this in a couple days or in a couple weeks. And honestly, this is pleasant. There's a lot that I would improve. I think obviously whenever I look at a game and I immediately see like typos and grammatical errors, I am like, okay, you know, that's something that is very it's something that not a lot of people will prioritize, because obviously we want to have good gameplay before we worry about a typo. But I will also say it's nice to hire those people, because I was a narrative writer. I was an additional writer for video games and then a narrative designer. And it is really difficult to find jobs if you are working in that field. And even a small credit like this can help somebody who's new to the industry. Because nobody is hiring specifically for writers. It's a very rare thing. Usually people will be like, well, whoever's the best at English, like in an indie studio, whoever's got the best English skills, we'll put them on all the dialogue and we'll have them proofread it or something. But I would say like hire a freelancer to proofread your stuff, to maybe write you some other stuff, rephrase some sentences and stuff. I think that's always nice. I don't have that. I'm not a registered freelancer anymore, so I can't do it, but I would love to have, like, if you told me that this could have been a gig that I would have just been like, yeah, I'll read through all of your dialogue, all of your stuff, and I'll fix it. That would have been fun. So that was the first thing that I noticed. And then I think the graphics are not horrible. I think the UI is nice and lovely. It's a little bit plain. The font, maybe I would have gone with a different font or like a background texture in this. And I would have maybe leaned more into, is it wrong to say like grays? Here there's like, is this greenish? That's greenish, but that's brownish. Is that just because the lighting around it is different? Yeah, I definitely think I love this picture. I love some of the details are quite nice. This Greek key is lovely. But yeah, I'm excited to find out more. I'm excited to check out the combat. Let me know what you thought. The reviews are mixed on Steam. Yeah, I can see why. But I had a pleasant time. And I'm not just saying that because they gave me a key for free. I'm not, you know, what are they going to do? Take it away? So I would say check it out. See if it's to your liking. Read some of the reviews. Tell me what you thought of it. And call me a liar in the comments because I said this was going to be 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, and it ended up being 46. Okay, that's going to be it from me. Make sure to do all the things that you do if you enjoyed this video, to do all the things that you do when you have enjoyed a video. Most importantly, tell a friend about it because YouTube isn't going to. And you can also check out some of my other stuff. I play a lot of games. Every Tuesday, I try to play a different game. I do a first impression of like a demo or an early access game or something that has just come out. And I might actually do 2 this week because I saw a really cool game as well. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it just came out as well. And you can check out my backlog of videos. There's so many different things. We've done so many demos this year. And then I also do Let's Plays of city builders, colony sims, and other stuff. And I even have a series of tower defense stuff as well. I love a tower defense from time to time, even though I'm more of a chill city builder kind of person. All right, I've rambled on for long enough. Yeah, have a nice rest of your life. Stay solidary, and don't forget to set your alarm clock. Bye.